Fucking hell. Right, sorry about all of that, everyone. We are playing some EuroTruck, and yeah, it was, yeah, the audio was fucking up. So let's go! Let us go. And we were driving. I'm hoping that it'll still let me use the controller. Oh, it doesn't. For some reason, it doesn't want me to use the controller. I don't know why. It only seems to work on the menus. I'll sort that out at some point. Anyway, we're actually going to be answering some questions. So let's answer those questions that I've already answered. One of them, the first one, is from, well, the first set of them are from Orange Lightning on the Gamecast Discord. And the question is, the first game I ever played. I had to think about this when I answered it the first time, but the first game I can remember playing is this sort of, it was a very sort of normal-ish kind of 30-in-1 kind of game, that kind of thing. And it was, yeah, basically most of the games on there were Tetris, because of course that's how these things tend to work. And I had, well, the game I played most on there was Super Mario Land, one that was made for the Game Boy Color. Well, it was made for the Game Boy, but this was on a Game Boy Color that I was playing it. And there was also a, oh, what was it? A Tasmanian Devil game. I cannot remember what it was called. All I know is I only ever got past the first level, I think, because I was very young and didn't really understand it. Other than that, the games I played around the same kind of time were all on the Game Boy Color. There was V-Rally, which was quite weird and slightly amazing at the same time. And also, there was a Tomb Raider game. I cannot remember what the name of it was. It was on the Game Boy again. And I think I only ever got past the first level once on that because I genuinely didn't understand what was going on. Ooh, I went through it. It's either this tunnel or a very similar one, not too recently. What's the fucking speed limit? 50. That might be why. Let us move on. We have a second question from Orange Lightning, and it is, what is my biggest pet peeve in gaming? My biggest pet peeve is microtransactions in full-priced games. I cannot stand them. I think they are absolutely abhorrent, and I don't think they have any place in this world at all. Other than that, I don't really know. I'm sure I have some other ones. Probably QuickTime events, like the overuse of QuickTime events, or games that don't actually have any particular gameplay. So I'm not a big fan of walking simulators unless they have some sort of good point to them, like the Stanley Parable. Ooh, I'm speeding again. Oh dear. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, those are basically my pet peeves. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 48. This is not me in real life. I'm not the sort of person that'll go, that'll do with speed. I will go at the speed limit, and that's about it. So, another question, since I've answered that one. Have I ever cried whilst playing a video game? I have not, actually. I'm not really a crying person as it is. I think various love the trees despawning in the mirrors. Yeah, various events in my life have just made me not a very crying person. But, yeah, I just sort of don't cry very... It takes a lot to make me cry. I can well up, but I don't really cry, particularly at video games. Mostly because I don't really play video games that have a lot of sad things in them. Or certainly not sad things that I care about, at least. Ooh, that's not right. Oh, dear. Oh, no. I am actually on the wrong side of the road. What am I doing? This driving is terrible. I went to take a drink, and that was a mistake. Right, so let's god. What even happened there? Oh well, I can look in the footage. Right. My A key got caught on. Yes, thank you, Wesley. My driving is indeed 10 out of 10. Right, on to another question now. And the question this time is, what's the most surprising game that I've ever played? So, presumably, the game that I was expecting the least of and got the most of. Most surprising game I've ever played. I genuinely don't know. I tend to not buy things when I'm not expecting anything of them. But if I broaden the question out, if not that I'm not expecting things of, but I've played more than I thought I would, probably Binding of Isaac, Rebirth specifically. I've played a shit ton of that, and when I got out I was just like, oh, this is a bit of fun, but that game is one of the best games I've ever played, and I'm not saying that lightly either. That's a very, very good game. Right, we're near Dover anyway, so yes. Well, I say Dover, a very shortened down and tiny version of Dover, because I can tell you for nothing, Dover does not look like this. Or indeed that sort of little town that's coming up. Road rage will kill you. Thank you, Orange. Thank you. That's very nice. So yeah, Binding of Isaac is probably my most surprising video game I've ever... What am I going to say 8 for? Bloody thing. Video game world I would most like to live in. Probably, this answer might come up a fair bit, but the Pokemon world is the world I would most like to live in, because you get to live with Pokemon. And apart from the villainous teams frequently trying to destroy the world in increasingly elaborate and strange ways, I kind of like the world that's built around Pokemon. I think it's all very sort of nice and war-free. Oh, that was a pants-clenching moment. So yeah. So yeah, that's basically what I would say. Be the Pokemon world, because I like Pokemon and I like the shit that world seems to have down. They all work together in a very nice way. I have another question, speaking of, from Orange in the chat. God, just speed up. Oh, jeez. Woo. Okay. Question from Orange. What would you do as a career in Pokemon? Would I be a trainer or something else? Are you sure this isn't GTA? Fuck off, Wesley. Fuck! Oh! If I had any sort of career in the Pokemon world, it would probably be... I genuinely don't know. I think I'd probably make quite a good gym leader. I'd like to be a trainer, but at the same time I hate the outdoors, so maybe, I don't know, working on the storage system, perhaps, or something like that. No, there's a lot of sort of interesting things that you can do. The indicator that you can do in the Pokemon world because of how they've sort of done it. So I genuinely haven't thought about it, which is surprising, actually. Okay, I mean, that could go worse. Oh well, we'll see. Right, we've had the questions from Orange, unless she puts any more in the chat. So let us start with questions from Sully this time. And we have, first question is, my fondest gaming memory. I do know the answer to this one. And it's probably, well, the one I remember most, the one that sticks in my mind, is me and all of my family went on a big holiday. This was the sort of last holiday we had with my dad before he died. So we went on a big holiday and we went to Singapore, 3 places in Australia and Dubai. That was a very good holiday. But while we were there, my dad bought me a Game Boy Advance SP with Pokemon Ruby on it. And my fondest gaming memory is we drove from Brisbane to Sydney, and my fondest gaming memory is playing that in the car driving between Brisbane and Sydney at night. And yeah, I played it until it died, actually, at one point on that holiday. And yeah, that was a really good memory for me, gaming-wise. I don't think there's anything that actually tops that. So yeah, that's probably my fondest gaming memory. His other question, Sully's, was missed peripheral opportunities or peripheral-related missteps in regards to games. Ooh, peripheral. So we're on about sort of attachments to the Wiimote, or things like the Kinect or the PlayStation Move, all those kinds of things. I mean, there's a lot to choose from. Let's start with missed opportunities. I think there's probably a lot of things for the Wii, and they could have done with that. They could have done a lot of things better than they actually did. For instance, they did a sort of light gun accessory because, you know, the Wii's kind of built for especially rail shooter type games. Shut up. And it's the Wii, to me, is very sort of shooter-wise built for that kind of experience, and not many games took advantage of it. I mean, some did, but not enough. And yeah, I'd say get an improved version of that with a sort of more realistic gun style. Like, it can still be white. I don't really have any particular issue if it's not white, but I'd say that yeah, something just a bit more realistic and has a bit more interactivity. Also, the Wii Motion Plus. This is going on to missteps, but the Wii Motion Plus, while it was a good thing and it should have really been on the Wiimotes in the first place, it's not quite as good as it could have been. I think the Wii would have benefited from knowing exactly where your Wiimote is in space, as well as the sort of orientation of it, more than it did. I don't know. The Wii Motion Plus was a good idea and it really improved the Wii Remote, but it could have been done a little bit better than it was. Other missteps, I'd say, is probably the Kinect, things like that. The Kinect is a piece of shit, as most people know. So, well, yeah, anyone with half a brain knows that the Kinect was shit, so that's nothing new. The PlayStation Move, there's the thing that I don't like. With PlayStation VR, they want you to use the PlayStation Move controllers to actually sort of use PlayStation VR, or half of the PlayStation VR features. Because you can play most, if not all, of the games with a controller, but some of them you have to have a PlayStation Move for. And I do not like that feature at all. That doesn't... No, because half the time you can buy them, what they're making them refurbished, I think they're not making any more, for an extortionate price, or you can buy them just used off the internet, and they have non-replaceable batteries which are half dead. So I think with PlayStation VR, they could have either made more PlayStation Move controllers, or they could have come up with a better idea. Closer to something like the Vive, because I really like the Vive, and if I was going to get a VR headset, that's the one I'd get. And I really like the sort of Vive controllers. I think they're really cool and they work very well. Also, if we let's count peripherals as things like attachments for consoles. The amount of different types of light that were made for the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color that were absolute and utter shit. Just, how is it so difficult to make a decent light for that console? I don't understand. Like, some of the Game Boy accessories are really cool, but that was just really weird. I have 4 people watching. Why are you all watching this? Why are you watching me rant about peripherals and talk about whatever else while playing EuroTruck? What's wrong with you? Next we have Mark from the Discord again. If you do have any questions, you come up with any questions, feel free to do what Orange has done, and please post them in the YouTube chat or on the Discord if you are on there. I will try and answer every question I'm given, because, you know, I have all day. Literally, I woke up at 1 o'clock today. This feels like it should be about 12 o'clock, midday for me, and it's actually about 6 o'clock. So, I'm having a fabulous day. So, questions from Mark. Franchises I love and or used to love. Well, my favourite franchise, and I think someone else might have actually asked this question as well, is Pokemon. Is my very genuinely favourite gaming franchise. Yeah, Pokemon is my favourite franchise of all time. I genuinely love it to bits, but I'm not one of those sort of super fans that can't realise that there are things wrong with it. Like, a lot of the things in Pokemon now are getting very stale. They could change a lot of it, just because we know full well that the turn-based battles are what made that game possible in the first place, because of the amount of space on a Game Boy cartridge, and even the fact that they got that game on there is a fucking miracle. But yeah, I feel there could be a lot of sort of better things they could do with the franchise now. Just mix it up a bit. I mean, yeah, they've got things like Pokken Tournament, but that's not taken as that's not like a main canon game. That's just a little side project. Or the Mystery Dungeon series I particularly like as well, because I like a good roguelike. That's one of the few true roguelikes, because it is very similar to Rogue in its gameplay style. Yeah, I think there could be a lot more done with the franchise, but at the same time, I still genuinely love it, and I really did enjoy Sun and Moon, because they didn't do anything revolutionary in terms of the sort of core gameplay, but they mixed enough things up that it felt really fresh and nice. So yeah, that's that. Franchises I used to love though, things I've fallen out of love with. I mean, the Batman Arkham games after Arkham City got a bit shite, especially Arkham Knight, PC port. Although that does apparently work okay now, and apparently when it launched, I had one of the better experiences. So that says a lot, really. I'm not a very fall out of love with the franchise person. I mean, I can recognise faults in everything, but I don't think there's ever been any particular franchise that I now detest that I used to love. On a similar sort of line note, Mark also asks me, what is my most trusted developer? If by that we mean a developer I trust, or a developer I have sort of, I think they'll put out the most consistently good content. I mean, of the big ones, it's Nintendo. I'd say they put out more percentage, if we go percentage-wise, the most solid content out of any of the main sort of big publishing houses and console manufacturers. But if we go small, any particular developers that I'm just like, oh yes, there's a publisher, I will trust basically anything Devolver Digital puts out, because they only publish games that are basically good. So that's who I'd go for there. But developer-wise, I don't know, I'm always very skeptical. That's the thing, I'm a very skeptical person, and as has been pointed out to me by a few people, I'm also, I've done that again twice in a row, also very snarky. Don't know where you're all getting that impression from at all. But yeah, I'd say that I don't really trust any developer to consistently put out good stuff, because Nintendo don't always put out good stuff, and let's be honest, most people don't always put out good stuff. It's not a thing that happens. I keep doing that, keep turning off the engine. So yeah, I don't trust any developer implicitly. I think that's a foolish idea, because if you do that, then I'd say you're probably just going to be more disappointed than, like, if they end up doing that kind of thing, than if you don't. So just never trust anyone, because then you're just going to be disappointed. If you just don't trust them, then the worst you can get is, oh, that wasn't quite as good as I thought it would be. Right, moving on. Moving swiftly on. We are going to Calais. This bit here is incredibly lifelike to the sort of in and out bit of the ferry terminals, just so you know. Let's go back onto questions. Another question from Mark. First game I bought with my own money. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will, of course, try and answer them. First game I bought with my own money was fucking years ago, so I genuinely can't remember. It's probably something on the Game Boy Advance. Either that or the PlayStation 2. The one I'm gonna say, because the only one I can think of. Oh, fuck you. 10%? Jeez. Is, oh, no, wrong way. Oh, please don't barriers, please don't barriers, there's barriers. Right. It's okay, it's okay. I'm trapped. Oh yes, I will answer that one in a minute, Wesley! That was the police. Oh god. Fuck off! Leave me alone. Right, there we go. We have made it. Moving on. Okay, so... yeah, probably Destroy All Humans is the one that I remember buying with my own money. But I don't know if that was the first. May well have been. May well not have been. I don't know. Games... well, loved games that I hate. Ooh, that's a good question. So, games that everyone loves, but I hate. I'm not going to go as far as hate, but don't like. Call of Duty, the franchise. I am not a Call of Duty fan in any way, shape or form. It's really not my kind of game. Same with basically every grey brown shooter, actually. People really love Battlefield 1, not for me. People... I rearranged myself in the seat because it's a fucking idiot. People love loads of things like that, and I just can't get on with them at all. I don't find them entertaining. They're just really dull to me. Everyone else seemed to love things like... well, there's Overwatch, which I've never played because I've never found enough interest to bother playing it. People really love The Sims 4, or some people really love The Sims 4, and I cannot stand The Sims 4 because it takes away quite a lot of the things from The Sims 3 that I like. It's very sort of basic and simple. So, yeah. Not fun to me, I don't find. God. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. No, that's the fucking engine again! Right, I will answer Wesley's question from the chat before I forget. Why am I known as Count Fracula and Snowy? Now, my name on Twitter and through all Discord and those kinds of social media platforms is generally Count Fracula, as well as Steam, actually. So, basically, that name is just sort of something I plucked out from thin air because I'd watched an episode of Battlestar Galactica recently and thought of Count Dracula at some point. So the two just sort of merged in my head because Frack is from Battlestar Galactica and Thingy and just Count Dracula. Well, you know what Count Dracula is, surely. Everyone knows that. Snowy is because my full first name is Snowden, spelt with an E instead of an O. That's a family name. I'll get onto that at some other point in the future, maybe. That's just what I've always been known as. Like, that's what my mum calls me. That's what my parents have always called me. It's a family name, so that's what my dad was known as well, and my granddad. So it's just sort of... that's what I'm used to. That's the name that I... If you talk to me in real life, that's the name that I will most likely respond to. Did someone just crash into? That's the pavement. Okay, I'll let them off then. So yeah, that's the name I'm going to respond to if you talk to me in real life, because that's how I know myself. That's genuinely, I think of myself as, I don't think of myself as Snowden, but I get called Snowden at work. Apparently I need to service my engine. Fuck. This trip has not gone well. This is not a good game to play while you're answering questions. My biggest gaming accomplishment, another question from Mark. I would say that what I count as my biggest gaming accomplishment is completing the Pokédex in the Generation 4 Pokemon games, apart from, I think, 2 event Pokemon that I couldn't get at the time. And yeah, I think it was Pearl, the one I used, I completed the Pokédex completely in that game. I had every single thing registered, and I did end up because I evolved a few, I nearly ended up completely filling the boxes as well with all the complete Pokemon, but I didn't go that far. I got pretty damn close though. I was only about sort of 5 off. It's not a feat I've replicated before or since, but I would say that is probably my biggest achievement in gaming. Now, I'm going to take this question as the favourite thing I've ever done in a game, or favourite, like, not sort of a moment in a game, special moment, because that's a bit dull. So I'm going to take it as that, and I'm going to say probably GTA 5. I played, this was just in the single player when I had it on Xbox 360, and the favourite thing I've ever done. I went up a hill. It was in the city, so I went up a hill onto the top flat bit right before you get to the suburbs, and I hit a vat. It was like a small lorry with my car. The lorry flipped over onto its side, and I landed on the car perfectly on top of the lorry on the van, like completely just straight on there like that. I will never replicate it, but fucking hell, that was amazing. So now we are moving on to questions from Wesley. Hello, Wesley. You are watching, I know for a fact, so that's good. Oy, there we go. And your first question was my favourite anime. I do watch anime. I have a subscription to Crunchyroll. And the favourite anime, well, at the moment that I'm watching is My Hero Academia. I've watched all of that in sort of the last week or two, and fucking hell, I really love it. It's really fucking good. Where even are we at the moment? We're somewhere. Okay. I think we're in Southampton. Okay. So, yeah, I'd say that's my current favourite anime. Of all time, I mean, there's a lot that I really like. Your Lie in April was particularly good. Yeah, that was very sort of like heart-wrenching, but in a very good way. There's not many things that actually get me to do that. I nearly cried at that. Actually, no, I did cry at that. Wow, yeah, that's one of the first anime, well, one of the first TV shows in a while that I cried at, because the ending to that was really fucking sad. But at the same time, it was very good. And we have things like Toradora, just sort of random high school bullshit, that kind of thing. I like K-On! I have all of the K-On! figures. I've read the whole manga. I've got all of the figures from Figma, and I have 2 very big K-On! figures that I quite like. Oh, another one I really love is Food Wars. That is, I've found out is coming back in the fall season of this year for season 3. Food Wars is fucking amazing because it is basically just the biggest pile of amazing bullshit you'll ever see. It's basically just this guy giving people foodgasms for however many episodes and making it really dramatic, but it's amazing. It's really worth a watch. So yeah, that's my anime recommendations to you. My Hero Academia, Food Wars, and if you're into sort of like little high school things, K-On's quite good if you like music, or there's things like Your Lie in April, or oh, what's the other one I watched? It's about a guy with amnesia and he goes out with a girl. Oh fuck, and then he gets his memory back. The girl has red hair, she's called Coco, and he's called Tagabandri. I don't fucking remember what the name of the anime was, but it was quite good. So there's that. Have you seen Ben 2? I don't know what Ben 2 is actually. I've seen Ben 10 when I was younger. Another question from Wesley, and favourite sci-fi. Doctor Who. That's the easiest answer I've ever had to give. Bento, isn't that? Oh, bento like lunch. Okay, I get it. Yeah, favourite sci-fi is definitely Doctor Who. Fucking love Doctor Who. Watched the episode last night. And I will give my critique of last night's Doctor Who. If you don't want to hear about it, then please mute me for 5 seconds. It was very good. I really enjoyed it, but it is a shame that every single good part of the episode was spoiled in the trailer. But otherwise, yes, it's a very good episode with a good build-up to the final part. Right, you can now unmute me. Hooray! So, yeah, you can unmute me. It's about school kids they have a club dedicating to fighting people for discounted lunch. Of course! That's a sensible thing to happen. Fuck it, it's anime, who cares? Oh! That's fine, it's only 1%. Jeez Christ. Yeah, Doctor Who's my favourite sci-fi. I do really like Star Trek as well, particularly Next Generation. Deep Space Nine is quite good. Voyager's okay, but it lets itself down with a lot of sort of inconsistencies. Favourite Doctor, Orange, is very difficult to answer. I think that I'm one of those who thinks they're all very good in their own way, but I do like Tennant, I really like Tom Baker, and I really like Matt Smith. I can give you a least favourite maybe, and that'd probably be 5th, Peter Davison. I accept that a lot of people like him, and he's not a bad Doctor by any stretch, definitely not, but I don't know, he's not quite crazy enough, or he doesn't quite feel alien enough. So yeah, that's my least favourite. Favourite-wise, I like too many of them on their own. Now we go on to questions from Machin, who isn't actually watching, I don't think, because he's busy. Or unless he is now watching, I don't know. Guilty pleasure game. So this is basically a game that I like that nobody else does. I'm gonna say probably I have a sort of weird fondness for the Sakura games, those weird visual novels that are just batshit. They're really sort of like actually no, they are now officially pornographic, but I don't know, they're just sort of stupid and kind of funny for it. Yeah, that's I can enjoy playing those, but I accept at the same time they are really bad stories in a way, and they're very sort of the sort of anime unbelievable type things. It's like, no, that wouldn't happen. Real people don't interact like that. Guilty pleasure anime. Ooh. Anything with hentai. I don't know, really. Probably just sort of the ridiculous high school romance kind of things I quite enjoy. And I don't really know why, because I generally hate romance, but for some reason I like those. So there, go figure that. Oh god, High School of the Dead. Oh, I didn't really enjoy that. I found that quite boring. High School DxD is ridiculous. I've read the whole of the manga in English, and I've watched most of the series, and it is stupid but quite funny. I quite like it. Fan service is king. Yes, it definitely is. Favourite voice actor? I don't know many voice actors. I mean, if we're talking games, I do genuinely quite like Nolan North. I know it's sort of, he's the cliche, everyone likes him voice actor, but I do actually quite like Nolan North. He's good, he's got a decent range, and he's quite good. Although DC Douglas as well. That was my desk. I like him as a person and a voice actor. I think he's very interesting, and he played Albert Wesker because, yeah, he's cool like that. Oh, we're going across the that bridge. I've been across the bridge, I just can't remember its name. Yeah, so if anyone has any more questions, please feel free to ask them, because I'm about to run out with hated games that I love. It's genuinely my last question. So, oh, God, I don't know. I really don't. I don't like games that other people don't really like, because they're usually not liked for a reason. again, I'd have to go probably the odd visual novel that I occasionally go through, but I don't know. I play a lot of obscure indie games that no one's ever heard of. But I don't think I've ever played a game that nobody likes that I've gone, oh, that's really good. That's not really happened to me. So we're heading off towards Cardiff now. Cardiff, Liverpool. I don't know why you'd want to go to Liverpool via Wales. That's a bit of an odd way around. Thank you, Wesley. But yeah, why not? Fuck it. I've been to Cardiff actually. It's a very nice city. It's where they filmed Doctor Who. Oh, most of Doctor Who. I've been to the Doctor Who experience there, which is apparently closing soon, which is very sad because I love the Doctor Who experience. It's very good. And yeah, I saw there's that monument in Cardiff that's appeared several times and has been sort of it's appeared in Doctor Who numerous times in sort of in the centre of Cardiff. Very nice little golden monument. It's actually the town hall as well. So yes, there's that. Anyway, Wesley asks me, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Let's think about that. I mean, the one I kind of feel that I would use most often would be teleporting. But I've always come up with issues when it comes to teleporting. Like, I've always thought, if you can teleport, do you take like things like your clothes with you? So do you have a field around you in which you can teleport things? And if so, how big is that field? Because are you going to be taking a big chunk of ground with you every time? Or can you control the field to just be your clothes? Or can you use it to transport another person as well? Or can it only be organic matter, so your clothes would be ripped to shreds or not come with you? I don't know. I mean, if it was just sort of straight teleporting, or like you see in sort of traditional sci-fi, where it's just poof, and you come up somewhere else, or like Nightcrawler does when it bamps into a different dimension and then over to a different place, then that could also work. But if it's sort of, if there's drawbacks like you can't take your clothes with you, I would have to have like special places I could teleport. So you want a time to... Yeah, do you know what? Considering that sometimes we'll get calls and they don't give us any travel time between them, I would fucking like a time turner, because I think that's what they expect us to have sometimes. But yeah, I think there's that. Or maybe flight would be interesting, but I think to make flight meaningful as a superpower, you need to also be able to withstand G-forces and the wind resistance and things like that. And I don't know if that would be possible for... I don't know, because I don't know if I'd also get that while I was doing it. So... okay, start to fly, work up a bit of speed, and then rip my body to shreds. So that would be fun. And what else? What else? Invisibility would be interesting, but then you can't with all the arguments of, will you be able to use your clothes? Or like, would your clothes turn invisible as well, or would it just be you? Oh, for fuck's sake. That one. Super strength. I mean, provided your body can withstand the necessary forces involved in super strength, I don't see a particular problem with that. Other than that, all the other ones, they're fine. They're just coming up with more obscure ones, and I really can't be bothered to be doing that. What else? Oh! No one needed that sign. Come on. I did not crash. Fuck you. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Why am I so bad at this game? I've not played it in ages, and I don't play it on keyboard and mouse normally, but my controller's not working, so... Also, for those of you wondering, this is why I heavily edit my videos, because I'm not particularly good at maintaining the massive stream of consciousness. I sort of worked that out when I started doing Let's Plays. I was just like, oh, I cannot do that thing at all. So, kind of get help by editing, basically, so I can actually sound moderately presentable. Because half of the time I don't. Even when I'm doing the news, that's why the news is also quite heavily edited in terms of cutting out silences and all those kinds of noises that I always make. It's just a habit. Oh, that guy's still there. Oh, jeez. Wow. Stop speeding up and slowing down. So many people do that on the road, and it really pisses me off when people do. God. Fuck you. Every fucking time. Oh, I had a cookie and some biscuits and I haven't actually touched them. The biscuits were digested for my tea, and I've only just noticed that they existed. I was like, oh, I haven't touched them at all. That's pretty sad. Oh well, I can eat them when I'm finished. Yes, even better. A reward for finishing this stream. 36 minutes left, which is in real time not much. Still, my first live stream. Well done me. No, well done. I think probably two of you. It's just Orange and Wesley. Well done, you two, for sticking it out and listening to my bullshit for an hour and a half. And the 20 minutes where I wasn't actually talking because I didn't realise that it wasn't working. Oh, it's roadworks. Oh, I didn't even know there was roadworks on this. Well done, you. It was fun. Was it? Do you know what fun is, Orange? Maybe I'm too self-deprecating sometimes. I really, you guys compliment me and I really appreciate it, but I genuinely, it's called imposter syndrome, isn't it? Where you don't feel you deserve any sort of the admiration you get. I mean, that's just my fault, really. That's my problem. But thank you anyway. At least glad you enjoyed it. I don't know why you enjoyed it, but I'm glad you did. This game still looks all right, actually. This looks surprisingly good for its age and the engine it was made in. This was one of those games like this and American Truck Simulator. American Truck Simulator was more expected to be good because of this. But this was just a game that everyone was like, oh, another crappy simulator, and it is so bang on. I don't have enough praise for EuroTruck Simulator 2. It's a fantastic game. And it's just really relaxing. And I need to be in there? Oh, fucking hell. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? That was really close. Bloody hell. They are not that. Oh. I'm just gonna not do that because I can't. Yeah, there we go. That's all done. All is possible. Yes. Good. I've done 5 jobs. And I did actually have a profile, but it's disappeared because it has. So there we go. I did a reasonable job of getting that to Plymouth. And now I can do another thing. So let's just do long distance driving. Yes. Hooray. So yes, thanks everyone for watching this really weird stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. And my news video went up today if you want to watch that. My big news on my channel. Quite long today, actually. There's quite a lot to talk about, more than I thought there was. Other than that, yeah, thanks for watching this stream. Thank you for sticking out with my bullshit, and I'm glad you all enjoyed it. And I'll do this again in the future at some point. So, yeah, have a nice day, guys.